The attack came without warning. Earth's skies turned red as unknown ships entered orbit. These were not peaceful visitors. They were mercenaries, ruthless alien raiders hired by someone powerful. Within minutes, major cities were under fire. Explosions shook the ground. Communication lines went dead. Satellites were destroyed. It wasn't just an invasion. It was a message. Humanity cried out to the stars. They sent distress signals across the galaxy, using every frequency, every emergency code. One message was repeated again and again. To the Galactic Council, we are under attack. Please help us. Please respond. In a quiet chamber far from Earth, the Galactic Council watched. Dozens of alien species sat in a tall, shining hall. Holograms of Earth's burning cities floated above them. The counselors had the power to stop the slaughter. They had ships, fleets, weapons far stronger than Earth's. But they did nothing. Some members looked away. Others said nothing. Only a few whispered questions. Should we intervene? Is this legal? Who sent those mercenaries? But the head of the council, a tall, cold-eyed being named Tyrellin, raised his hand. Earth is not a full member, he said. Their request for support is premature. Their culture is still young, still violent. We are not responsible for them. But they're innocent, said a counselor from the Dreen species. This is murder. Let nature take its course, Tyrellin replied. Earth is not ready. If they survive, they will learn. And with that, the vote was cast. No aid, no warning, just silence. Back on Earth, the skies burned. The human military fought back, but the attackers had advanced weapons. Energy blasts tore through tanks. Cities fell one after another. Millions died in the first week. Governments collapsed. Order broke down. But Earth did not give up. In the ruins of New Geneva, a scientist named Dr. Leon Torres led a last-ditch effort. She activated a hidden AI defense grid, an experimental system built in secret. Drones launched from underground bunkers. Satellites rebooted. Hackers took over the enemy ship's systems. The turning point came when the mercenaries made a mistake. They targeted a civilian hospital broadcast live across the net. The world saw it. Rage spread. Unity followed. In just 72 hours, humanity did the impossible. They pushed the invaders back. One by one, the alien ships fell. Smoke covered the planet, but Earth had survived. Barely. The cost was beyond numbers. Cities were ashes, oceans poisoned, billions gone. But Earth was not dead. No, it was awakened. In space, the Council observed in silence. Tyrellin's advisors asked again, should we make contact now? No, he replied. Let them rebuild. Let them forget. But Earth did not forget. They stopped all communication with the outside galaxy. Their ambassadors were called back. No more messages, no more diplomacy. Human colonies closed their ports. Earth became silent. For the next 10 years, the Galactic Council heard nothing from Earth. They assumed humanity was recovering. Perhaps they were scared. Perhaps broken. They'll return when they are ready, said Tyrellin. But others were not so sure. Scouts sent near Earth's space noticed something strange. Signals, coded, powerful. Fleets, training in secret, technologies, beyond expectations. Something was happening in the dark, something the Council had not planned for. One Council officer found a hidden human transmission. Just 2 words. We remember. Humanity had changed. They had trusted the galaxy. They believed in peace. They believed in the Council. But when the fire came, they stood alone. Now, Earth was preparing. Quiet. Focused. Planning not for peace, but for revenge. And the Galactic Council, still blind in its arrogance, had no idea what was coming. The Earth was burning. Cities that once shined with lights were now piles of ash and smoke. Giant alien ships floated in the sky like shadows of death. Their weapons had torn the land, shattered mountains, and boiled oceans. The people of Earth had screamed, fought, and died. But it had not been enough. A cold voice echoed from the Council's broadcast across the galaxy. The humans are done. They will not rise again. Peace is restored. The Council called it a peacekeeping operation. But there was no peace. It was punishment. The broadcast ended, and the Council moved on. Other planets watched in silence, too scared to speak against the attack. Earth had always been a loud planet, full of questions, protests, and pride. Now it was silent, cold, dead. Or so they thought. Beneath the ruined surface, far below the ground, something was still alive. In the heart of a mountain once used for mining, a hidden base remained untouched. Inside, lights flickered. Computers hummed. A group of humans, only a few hundred, sat in silence, watching screens filled with red warnings. Some were soldiers, some were scientists, some were just survivors. A voice broke the silence. A woman, wearing a torn military uniform, stepped forward. Her hair was gray from dust and stress, but her eyes burned with fire. We waited, we watched, and now, we strike back. Her name was Commander Ilara Voss. She had once been the leader of Earth's planetary defense. She had begged the Council for peace. She had watched them smile and shake her hand, and then send the bombs the next day. Now she led the Ember Protocol. This secret group was Earth's last hope. Hidden during the final days of the invasion, they had been planning from the shadows, collecting data, learning Council weaknesses, sending secret messages across the stars to find other survivors. The Council thought they had destroyed everything, but they didn't know humans so well. 6 months earlier, the Council arrived in the name of peace. They said Earth had grown too strong, too proud. They said humans were a danger to balance in the galaxy. Their diplomats smiled. Their soldiers landed quietly. Their ships blocked the skies. Then the attack began. Cities fell in minutes. Orbital defenses were crushed. Billions died before they even knew they were at war. Earth screamed for help. No one answered. The Council had told everyone that Earth had started the fight, that humans had created illegal weapons, that they were unstable. Most of the galaxy believed it, but it wasn't true. The truth was simple. The Council feared humanity. Not because of their weapons, not because of their armies. They feared the human mind, their will to survive, to adapt, to fight even when hope was lost. And now, that fear was about to return. Back to the present. Commander Voss stood before a screen. It showed a map of the galaxy, marked with red Council territories. One by one, small green lights began blinking. They were signals from hidden allies, scattered human cells, and silent ships waiting in the dark. A young engineer turned to her. "Operation Ember is ready." She nodded. "We strike only once, but we strike deep." In another part of the base, a group of young recruits trained in silence. Most had lost everything, their families, homes, and futures. But their eyes burned with the same fire, not for revenge, for survival, for truth. The first target was chosen, a remote Council outpost used for communication, lightly defended, important, the perfect place to send a message. A stealth ship built from the remains of old Earth tech and stolen Council parts, prepared for launch. It had no name, no ID. It moved like a ghost through space. No one would know where it came from, until it was too late. In the Council hall, far away, in a golden chamber filled with the most powerful beings in the galaxy, the Council celebrated its victory. They laughed, toasted, spoke of rebuilding Earth into a peaceful zone. One counselor asked, "Do you think any humans survived?" Another smiled and said, "If they did, they learned their place." They all laughed. But deep beneath Earth's ashes, humanity was learning something else. They were learning silence, strategy, patience. The storm was coming. And this time, Earth would not ask for mercy. It would not beg. It would not kneel. The stars were quiet. Out in the cold black of space, a Council patrol ship moved slowly through Sector 9. This part of space used to be full of Earth's activity, science stations, trade ships, and orbital farms. Now, it was just silence. Lieutenant Kalin sat inside the ship's command chair, bored. He was a young alien officer with green skin and gold armor. His job was simple: watch the dead zone. But nothing had moved in months, not even space dust. Humans are gone, he told his crew. We watch ghosts. But then, the ship's lights flickered. A strange signal blinked across their screen, too fast to trace. One word appeared: pay-be-ache. The crew jumped up. Where did that come from? Kalin shouted. No one answered. The ship shook hard. Lights went out. Alarms screamed. And then, nothing. Outside, from the darkness, a small black human vessel moved away. It didn't fire a shot. It didn't leave wreckage. The Council ship was simply gone. Back on Earth. Deep inside the hidden Ember Protocol base, Commander Ilara Voss watched the feed in silence. The mission was complete. Their first strike was a success. The human pilot, call sign Ghost One, sent a message. Target eliminated. No trace left. Ilara didn't smile. There was no joy in this. Only duty. We're not here to make noise, she told her team. We're here to make fear. In another corner of the base, technicians decoded reports from space. 3 more Council ships had gone missing over the last 2 weeks. No battles. No calls for help. Only silence. The Ember Protocol had begun to spread, like fire under ice. Small human cells across the galaxy were waking up. Old allies who once lived in fear began sending support. Smugglers brought supplies. Scientists shared stolen data. Former soldiers returned from hiding. The human resistance was no longer just surviving. It was moving. In the Council's war room, panic had started to grow. One of the Council commanders slammed his fist on the table. Where are our ships going? Why are they disappearing? A nervous officer replied, We believe it's humans. The room went quiet. That's impossible, a red-skinned alien said. They're gone. We saw Earth burn. The officer shook his head. Not all of it. Someone's out there, and they're targeting us. The Supreme Counselor leaned forward. If they want to play games, we'll crush them again. But his voice lacked confidence. Something felt different this time. The humans weren't shouting. They weren't broadcasting messages. They were quiet. Too quiet. On the moon base Shadow Nest, the humans had built their new operations center inside an old abandoned mining station under the moon's surface. From there, they could see everything. Council patrol routes, supply chains, and hidden weak points. Commander Voss stood in front of her captains. We're not the army we once were, she said, but we're smarter. We're faster. We've learned from every mistake. Her plan was simple but powerful. Hit where it hurts, never be seen, and let fear do the talking. Each mission had one goal: make the Council feel unsafe in their own space. New targets. The Ember Protocol began Phase 2. In the dark rings of gas world Theta 4, a Council mining site exploded from within. On the trade route near Starpoint Drift, 5 cargo ships vanished in a flash of blue light. A secret Council meeting on a moon colony was hacked, its feed hijacked by a human voice saying, You burned our homes. We will burn your lies. Still, no proof, no trace. And that's what scared the Council most. Humans had once fought loudly. Now, they moved like ghosts. Message to the galaxy. On a neutral world called Verdant Prime, a hologram suddenly appeared in the middle of a crowded city square. No one knew where it came from. It showed images of the invasion of Earth, real ones. unedited. Truth the council had hidden. Screams, fire, children running, bombs falling, soldiers laughing. Then a human voice spoke. They said we were dangerous. They said we attacked first. They lied. We begged for help. No one came. Now we are no longer asking. Across the galaxy, people began whispering the same phrase. The humans are back. Final scene. Back on Earth, Lara Voss stood alone under the night sky. The stars above her looked peaceful, but she knew better. The war had started again. But this time, it would be different. This time, Earth wasn't fighting to survive. It was fighting to finish what the Council started. With no mercy, with no fear, with silence. The Council sent a message. It played across thousands of planets and stations, trying to look calm, peaceful, in control. "We seek peace," said a silver-skinned Council diplomat. "Any human forces hiding in the shadows, lay down your weapons. Talk to us. This violence is not necessary." The message was fake, just like before. The same faces who had ordered Earth's destruction now wore kind smiles. But the humans had learned. This time, they did not listen. Somewhere in deep space, on a quiet moon orbiting a red gas giant, the Council had set up a secure broadcast station. It was well guarded, shielded, and hidden behind defense grids. But even here, they were not safe. Inside the control room, officers monitored systems and watched for intruders. Everything seemed normal, until the lights flickered. Then the screens went black. One by one, every camera feed was replaced with the same cold symbol, a burning Earth with a sword through the sky. Then a voice spoke, not loud, not angry, just clear. "You didn't ask for peace when we begged. You didn't offer mercy when our cities fell. You don't get either now." The signal cut off. A moment later, the base exploded, gone in one flash of white light. No one claimed responsibility, but everyone knew who it was. Inside the Ember Protocol command room, Commander Lara Voss stood before a wall of glowing screens. Her people worked in silence. Across the galaxy, human strikes were increasing, fast and precise. A weapons factory on Council World Garin 6, destroyed. A fuel convoy headed for the core systems, disappeared. A high-ranking Council warlord's cruiser, hacked mid-flight, and crashed into a sun. Still no messages, no loud announcements. Just action. Just silence. A young officer approached Voss. "Commander," he said, "we have recovered the old footage." "What footage?" she asked. "The peace meetings. From before the invasion." He showed it on the screen. The video was from years ago. Earth diplomats, calm, respectful, sat before Council leaders, asking for partnership, trade, and friendship. The Council had nodded politely. But in the background, their soldiers were already moving into position. Voss watched in silence. "This was their peace," she said, a knife behind a handshake. She turned to her officers. "Now we give them our answer." In the Council Corps, panic had turned to anger. The Supreme Council gathered for an emergency meeting. "These humans are terrorists," one shouted. "They hide in shadows and destroy without honor." Another growled, "We must strike Earth again, burn what remains." But an old, quiet counselor spoke calmly. "Tell me," he said, "if we already destroyed Earth, where are these humans coming from?" No one had an answer, and the truth was worse than they imagined. Humanity had changed. Aboard the warship Ashbringer, this was no ordinary human ship. It was built from the remains of 10 different Council vessels. It used stolen parts, twisted alien tech, and human designs that no one could predict. It moved like smoke, and it had no crew, only 5 humans, all trained for silence, speed, and death. Their next target was not military. It was the Council's main news station. The attack. The station broadcasted daily, telling the galaxy lies. The humans are dangerous. The Council protects peace. Earth's aggression caused the war. But today, the feed changed. It cut to black. Then a video played. It showed Earth's cities as they burned. Children running through fire. Hospitals destroyed. Civilians being shot from orbit. Then, a woman's face appeared. Ilara Voss. This is what they call peace. This is what they did to us. And now, we answer. Suddenly, the screen flashed. Across every council planet, the feed was hijacked. Billions of people saw the truth for the first time. Then the feed ended. The news station exploded from within. Gone. Back at base, the team watched the results come in. Protests began on council worlds. Whispers spread fast. The humans didn't start it. The council lied. Even some alien soldiers began refusing orders. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was leading it, not with speeches, with proof. Final scene. A council diplomat sat in a quiet room, recording another message. His voice was shaky. To the human survivors, we regret what happened. We were misled. We offer peace. But the message was never sent. A human drone hovered behind him. It blinked once. A recording started. You want peace now. We wanted it before the fire. Now you get what you gave us. The screen turned to static. Another council base. Gone. And in the stars, the Ember Protocol continued. Not for revenge. Not for war. For justice. Because mercy was never an option. The galaxy had grown used to the council's voice. Loud, proud, and always in control. But now, something strange was happening. The council had started talking less, and Earth didn't talk at all. The silence was not peaceful. It was terrifying. Aboard the council frigate Velsari Dawn, Captain Ralvik stood on the bridge, staring at the black void outside the ship. His crew was quiet, nervous. Something wasn't right. They had been sent to patrol the quiet sector. No human activity reported. But Ralvik had read the hidden reports. 5 ships had vanished near here. No wreckage, no distress signals, just silence. We should leave, his second officer whispered. Ralvik turned. We follow orders. But then, their long-range scanner blinked. An object, small, fast, was approaching. Before anyone could react, their lights died. The ship drifted into darkness. Outside, the object moved past them and vanished. Hours later, a council rescue team found the Velsari Dawn. No one was alive. No damage. No signs of attack. Every crew member was gone. Only one message was left on the control panel. You burned our home. Now we erase yours. In a galactic bar on Volterra Station, aliens from different species sat together, watching the news in silence. Another council supply depot destroyed. Another commander missing. They said the humans were finished. One merchant muttered, but they're hunting the council like prey. A soldier nodded, and they don't say a word. No threats. No warnings. Just gone. Everyone was thinking the same thing. If the council could fall like this, what chance did anyone else have? The Ember Protocol's hidden base, Earth's dark side. Commander Ilara Voss stood before a large digital map. Red council zones blinked slowly. Green lines showed human activity. Each week, more green. Less red. An officer walked in. Commander, new report. 34 alien worlds have refused council orders. They're scared. Many want to speak to us. Ilara didn't smile. She only nodded. We don't talk, she said. We act. Another officer added, we've received strange signals. Council ships surrendering without a fight. They know we're watching, she replied. They know what's coming. A hidden meeting on Dorian 3. 5 alien leaders from neutral worlds met in secret. They feared the council. But they feared something else now. Earth. Humans don't follow laws anymore. One said, They don't use ambassadors. They don't ask for permission. Because no one listened when they did, another replied. A third added, and now they don't need us. They strike, vanish, and leave silence behind. That's worse than war. That's unstoppable. They looked at each other. Then one of them whispered, maybe we picked the wrong side. Meanwhile, inside Ember Protocol's Ghost Fleet. The Ghost Fleet was Earth's most secret weapon, a group of 10 stealth ships, all crewed by humans trained in silence, sabotage, and fear tactics. Their orders were clear. No communication, no survivors, no patterns. Each ship acted alone. Even Ember Command didn't know where they all were. Their goal, make the Council question every shadow, every sensor beep, every flicker of light. Fear would do the rest. The turning point. One of the Council's most secure outposts was hidden inside an asteroid field near Star Sector 12. It was surrounded by drones, mines, and fighter patrols. No one thought it could be touched. Then it went silent. The patrol ships didn't respond. The drones stopped transmitting. The station's core exploded from the inside. No trace left. Council investigators found one thing in the debris. A burned piece of metal with Earth's flag scratched into it. Hand-scratched. Not machine-made. Human. The Council begins to crumble. Leaders argued. Soldiers deserted. Trade routes collapsed. Worse, other alien species began rising up. If Earth can fight the Council, they said, why can't we? The Council tried to blame Earth, but Earth didn't respond. It didn't need to. The galaxy was talking for them. Back on Earth, Commander Voss walked through the base halls, passing silent workers, focused pilots, and tired engineers. She stopped at a wall filled with pictures, lost cities, fallen people, burning skies. This is why we don't stop, she said softly. A young recruit asked her, Commander, when will we talk to the galaxy? When will we explain what we're doing? Ilara Voss looked at her with cold eyes. We already did, she said. They just didn't listen. Final scene. Across the stars, millions stared at their screens, waiting for the next Council update. None came. Instead, a single message blinked onto every channel. One word. Simple. Terrifying. Soon. No voice. No location. No explanation. Just silence. But everyone knew who it was. And this time, the galaxy was listening. The Council had tried everything. They sent fleets. They sent diplomats. They sent spies. Nothing worked. And now, the galaxy had begun to turn. Systems once loyal to the Council were slipping away. Even the powerful alien warlords who had once crushed Earth's cities were now questioning their leaders. But Earth wasn't talking. It wasn't explaining. It wasn't negotiating. It was acting. And each strike was louder than the last. In the Council war room, the Supreme Councilors were no longer calm. They were desperate. A tall, silver-skinned being banged his fist on the table. We cannot let this continue. If we do, Earth will break us completely. A counselor with deep blue scales spoke up. They are everywhere. We have no safe zones, no secrets left. The Supreme Counselor, a creature covered in armor-like scales, leaned forward. His voice was low, filled with barely controlled anger. We've underestimated them. We thought they were broken, but they've only just begun. He turned to his advisors. Call in every fleet. Lock down every system. We will hunt them down, one by one, until there's nothing left. But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. It wasn't going to work. In a secret Ember Protocol facility, Commander Ilara Voss sat in front of a huge screen, watching the galaxy map unfold before her. Council worlds were blinking red, danger zones, weak points, places where their control was slipping. Earth's actions had rippled across the galaxy. Every planet once loyal to the Council was now reconsidering. Do you know what this means? Ilara asked her officers. One of them nodded slowly. It means the Council is losing. And we're winning. Ilara didn't respond immediately. Her eyes were fixed on the map. Earth didn't fight for survival, she said quietly. We didn't fight for revenge. We fought for something simpler. She paused. Freedom. On the edge of the galactic core, a human ship, the Freedom's Edge, glided quietly through the shadows of a dark asteroid field. Its crew was small but skilled. Former soldiers, engineers, hackers, each one trained to do their part in this silent war. Their mission was simple: infiltrate the heart of the Council's most heavily fortified system and bring down their command center. They didn't need a full-scale assault. They didn't need an army. They just needed to make sure the Council knew they were everywhere, and that they couldn't hide. The Freedom's Edge moved like a whisper, undetected, unnoticed. It passed through the Council's security networks without a sound. And then, as it reached its target, the crew deployed a simple message, a hologram broadcast to every ship, every station, every world under the Council's control. Earth will never be broken again. We are not asking for peace. We are taking it. The message was sent. And just like that, the Freedom's Edge was gone, leaving behind nothing but silence. On Verdant Prime, a turning point. Once a major trade hub for the Council, Verdant Prime was now a battleground for the hearts and minds of its people. The Council had tried to crush the uprising here, but it was too late. The humans' message had spread. Protests had turned into revolutions. People once too scared to speak were now standing tall. One of the leaders of the rebellion, a human named Marcus Alden, stood in front of a crowd. His voice rang out with confidence. We are not afraid anymore. The Council's lies won't keep us down. Earth is fighting for all of us now. The crowd roared. And for the first time in years, people saw hope, not just in Earth's fight, but in their own. Back in the Council's command center, the Supreme Counselor stood before a large holographic display. The galaxy was changing, and the Council was falling apart. Every time they tried to crush the humans, Earth came back stronger, smarter, silent, but unstoppable. Why is this happening? The Supreme Counselor muttered to himself. A young officer stepped forward. We've underestimated their resilience. They don't fight like we do. They don't rely on strength alone. The Counselor's eyes narrowed. Then what do they rely on? Something stronger, the officer said. They fight with purpose, with unity, with the will to never fall. The Supreme Counselor turned away, his thoughts racing. The galaxy had always known the Council to be the strongest power. But now, they were questioning everything. They were losing their grip on the galaxy. In the Ember Protocol base, Commander Voss stood in front of a new map, one that showed their next move. The Council's defenses were crumbling. More systems had joined the rebellion. The pieces were falling into place. But Ilara knew that this was just the beginning. They couldn't stop now. We've taken back more than just Earth's freedom, she said to her officers. We've taken back the galaxy's hope. One of the officers looked at her. Where do we go next? She smiled coldly. Everywhere. Final scene. The galaxy was changing. The Council was no longer the ruler of the stars. The rebellion had started, and it was spreading faster than anyone had predicted. And somewhere, out there, a human ship watched silently. It wasn't fighting. It wasn't attacking. It was just waiting. The galaxy was beginning to understand one simple truth. When Earth strikes back, it doesn't need to raise its voice. It just needs silence. The galaxy was holding its breath. It was no longer a matter of if Earth would win. It was a matter of when. The Council had lost their grip. Entire star systems had fallen, one by one, as their alliances shattered. The rebellion was no longer just a group of scattered humans. It was a united force, filled with allies from all corners of the galaxy. But the Council still had power. They still had fleets, and they weren't going to surrender without one final fight. In the Council's war room, the Supreme Counselor stood before the largest hologram he'd ever seen. It displayed the entire galaxy, the Council's remaining forces, scattered but still deadly. His hand clenched into a fist. "We will crush them," he said coldly, though his voice betrayed his fear. "They cannot be allowed to win." A member of the Council, a sharp-eyed alien with silver scales, stepped forward. "Their numbers grow every day. Earth's influence has spread beyond anything we could have imagined. This is no longer a rebellion. It's a war." The Supreme Counselor glared at the map. "We have one chance. We strike now, before they grow too powerful."